Coming up on MCTV this week, see how the Monmouth community is adapting to language diversification and discover the steps Monmouth College is taking to create a welcoming environment for the LGBTQIA community. This week starts now. Hello and welcome to MCTV this week for our Halloween edition. For Curtis Galloway, I'm Juliana Graff. The city of Monmouth is growing in diversity, and with that, the accommodation for new immigrants are beginning to be made with the help of both English and Spanish students. Lily Guillen has the story.
Over the course of this fall semester, Professor Timothy Gaster's intermediate Spanish class has teamed up with the Adult English as a Foreign Language program to translate the Monmouth Residence Guide from English to Spanish for new incoming residents. And according to the 2013 census, about 15% of Monmouth's population is Hispanic, but that seems to be increasing with the coming of new immigrants. One of the EFL students, Joanny Vera, an immigrant from Cuba, says that the reason they moved to Monmouth was because her husband obtained a better job at Farmland Foods. Vera says that there are many more families she knows that have moved to Monmouth for the jobs available at Farmland Foods as well. Along with their suitcases and belongings, these newcomers also bring many stories of experiences to the table when meeting with the college students.
I like learning about her life. I think that it's really interesting, some of the things that she's told us. Like that she's been in the United States for 10 years and here in Monmouth for, I think she said 5 years. And the difference between like living where she did before in Florida and the difference between that and living here in Monmouth.
The exchange of cultures and experiences is what Professor Gaster continues to stress to the class. The project they are participating in is not only to literally translate the residence guide, but to bring the community together, both on and off campus, especially since some of the newcomers have had trouble getting used to living in a completely different place than what they know. What I like the best about Monmouth is that it is a very calm place. It's very peaceful. Well, at least by where I live, it is a very calm zone. But what I don't like is that since I don't speak English that well, I have not been able to meet as many new people. In addition to the cultural exchange all the students are experiencing, the translation of the new residence guide has helped both EFL and college Spanish students understand the languages better, since not everything translates literally. Sometimes it gets too difficult that not even the help of the internet is enough. So it requires the effort to explain as best they can the meaning of a term in order to correctly translate the words or phrases, which has been an effective way to learn the new language for both sides. It has helped me a lot, because being here is a great defense system for us to learn the language. It is essential to know it in all occasions, and for me it is very important and a goal that I have to learn it. For MCTV, I'm Lily Guillen.
The Monmouth Residence Guide should be translated fully into Spanish by next semester. This group hopes to translate it into other languages as soon as possible.
Safe Space Training gave student tips on how to create a safe space for LGBTQIA students. Last Wednesday night, Monmouth College students and staff gathered to learn more about creating a friendly space for LGBTQIA community. At the training, students engaged in a variety of activities, including discovering their own sexual orientations, defining and learning terms about LGBTQIA, and getting some tips on creating a safe environment for other students to express their sexual orientation.
I would just say that you are accepted, and there are people on this campus who are awesome resources, and to be okay with who you are and where you're at in whatever moment in your identity you are. That is okay.
This annual event is hosted by the Office of Intercultural Life with collaboration with Western Illinois University.
Last Thursday, the Monmouth Maple Leaf Community Concert Series organized a jazz concert in Dahl. Jamie Paul is a jazz vocalist raised in Southern Illinois. Paul was influenced by gospel and blues, cultivating a special place in her heart for jazz. Besides jazz, Paul and the band played some classical music along with rock, such as The Weight from the band. The event was sponsored by the Patsy Foundation.
Last week, archaeological sites in Mexico were discussed. Lawrence Conrad, an emeritus professor of anthropology from Western Illinois University, provided an overview of archaeological sites in Mexico, including Teotihuacan, the largest prehistoric city in the New World, the Rome of Mesoamerica, and the Temple of Mayor, the main pyramid of the Aztecs when Cortez came. The lecture was sponsored by MC Classics Department and the Western Illinois Society of Archaeological Institute of America.
The Monmouth College Department of Music hosted its annual fall concert last Saturday. The concert featured the Monmouth Concert Choir, Sassy Lassies, and Scotsmen. Dane Feenstra directed the Monmouth Concert Choir, while the Sassy Lassies and Scotsmen performed a cappella arrangements.
If you want to see some people having fun, just take a minute and relax. That's what we're doing tonight. We're giving you a great selection of music, and all you have to do is come and sit down. So hopefully we can convince some people for next time maybe to come that couldn't come this time.
The music department's next event will be the annual winter concert.
The Tuesday before break, Corral put on a show of a different kind. The annual Corral drag show took the stage with gender-bending performances. From Amy Winehouse, Bob Dylan, to the Backstreet Boys, the performances were all to raise money for the Corral trip to Italy in the spring. Besides the Corral, the Scotsmen and the Sassy Lassie switched gender roles and performed.
Yeah, totally. It's awesome. It was so much fun. Like, how many other drag shows do we have on campus? None that I'm aware of. Also, we're fundraising for, this year we're fundraising for a trip to Italy in the spring. So every ticket, all the proceeds from that are going towards our trip.
Corral raised $415 from the event.
Last weekend, the Fusion Theater hosted a Freakshow. Freakshow was a Halloween-twisted play filled with song, dance, and comedy. Songs like Uptown Funk and Radioactive were thrown into the mix, and even zombie Frank Sinatra. Also appearing was stand-up comic Felicia Dunn, the thrift store Pickles from Pekin, Illinois, and Monmouth College's very own improv club. Freakshow was presented by Sugar High Theatricals.
The Buchanan Center for the Arts held an Old Friends Talk Art program last Wednesday. The talk featured glass artist Junior Miner, who discussed her artistic process. Miner showed samples of her work through slideshow pictures, as well as some physical samples. Some featured pieces were several glass bowls with different designs, shapes, and sizes. She explained the process of making a piece of glass art. She discussed her use of a kiln, which she uses to form the glass into the finished product, and answered questions from her audience. The Buchanan Center will hold another gallery talk next month featuring another artist. For more information, go to bcaarts.org.
Taking a look at some events on campus this week, author Janine Capel-Cruzat will be reading from her novel, Make Your Home Among Strangers, on October 29th at 7 in the Patsy Auditorium of CSV. The Classics Department is hosting Cider with Classics on October 30th at 3 in the Wells Room of Wallace Hall. This event will feature Halloween snacks, classical ghost stories, and fellowship with others interested in the classics. Massimo Pigliucci, author of Nonsense on Stilts, How to Tell Science from Bunk, and a professor of philosophy at the City University of New York, will present Monmouth College's annual Donald B. McMullen Memorial Lecture in Biology on October 29th at 7:30 in the Dahl Chapel.
Up next on sports, Fighting Scots football look to stay atop the Midwest Conference. The Fighting Scots football team hosted Lake Forest the weekend of fall break. It was a great day for football as the Fighting Scots took to the turf on Saturday. It didn't take long for the Scots offense to get rolling With 11 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first quarter, tailback DeAndre Wright cruised into the end zone on this 2-yard carry. On the following drive, the Scots took the ball all the way down to the Lake Forest 2-yard line before having to settle for 3 points on this 18-yard field goal by Monmouth College kicker Danny Mazzalupo. Early in the second quarter, Lake Forest responded on this 4-yard touchdown pass by Sean Dixon. The Scots answered on the next 2 drives, punching it in the end zone. This 18-yard touchdown pass by Tanner Matlick padded Monmouth's lead, making it 31-7. The defense was big all day for the Scots, but it was most evident on this 17-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown by defensive lineman Tyler Parksey. The Scots went on to win 38-7.
We knew they had 2 very good running backs coming in today, and we knew that, we had to stop their running game first and foremost and make them one-dimensional. And when we can make any team one-dimensional and have to throw the ball, we got such a great group that can rush the passer that we're pretty dangerous.
Fighting Scots football team will host its next game this weekend when Grinnell comes to town. That's it for sports. Here are the rest of the scores from this week. For MCTV this week, I'm Tyler Berneisen.
And I'm Curtis Galloway. Make sure you tune in next week for another edition of MCTV This Week.
And I'm Juliana Graff. You can also watch us on the web by going to monmouthcollege.edu/MCTV. See you next week.